Alright, so hi guys. So in today's video, I wanted to count down my top 10 favorite art supplies plus honorable mentions. I'm going to count down the top 10 art supplies I use the most, slash I think are my favorite that I own. And I'm going to do this in no particular order, so there's no order like the first one I show will be my favorite or my least favorite. Like there's no order to this, just showing my top 10 most used art supplies, plus some honorable mentions that I use a lot but wouldn't use on like a daily basis, or do have some major flaws to them that bring them to honorable mentions rather than just being overall great all the time. Because I do have some art supplies I use a lot, but they do have flaws that could make other people not want to use them as much, but I don't mind because I've gotten used to it. And so yeah, let's get started. Without further ado, I will talk about the first art supply I use, which is the first art supply, which is the Koi watercolors. This is the travel set. I would recommend the travel set over the regular set because the regular Koi watercolors, which I believe I have right in my desk. Oh yeah, here they are. The regular Koi watercolors right here, which I have in my drawer, they come in like these tubes, and personally I prefer the travel one because the travel one comes in like already made little square palette things rather than tubes. Tube watercolor, I've heard is better, but I don't know. I don't have as much experience with it, so I can't say much for that. I've only used these ones probably twice. Plus I need a palette with these, and I didn't really have a palette until as of a while ago, so that's why I didn't use them as much. And I'm waiting for these to use up because these are great. I do almost all my paintings with these, and as you can see, they're very worn out, and I've used these for almost a year now, and they've been the only they have been the only paints I have used for almost exclusively a year, and I will pull out some artwork I believe I should have that I've done with them, because they're like probably my favorite paints ever, and I would highly recommend them. I'm gonna put them to the side, and I'll show you some of this artwork I've done with them. Not this. Yeah, I did. Alright, so I did this with them, and as you can see, it's very easy to get the paints very thick, and also very watery and like smooth and soft, as you can see I did with the hair. And I also did this with them. You can see here I got very watery and then very thick as well. They weren't the best when I tried to do like textures with them. I don't know if that was the paints or if something I did, but I couldn't get a texture with them when I tried to put salt on them to make a texture. But overall, they're very great, very pigmented, and overall, my favorite watercolors I have ever used. And I don't know, they're just very pigmented, and compared to some of my other watercolors, like, they don't get very watery, they just stay very pigmented, and they're great, and they actually come with a watercolor brush, so I'll show you what they come with. They come with this little art palette when you get them, and they come with these two sponges on either side. I have the one with 20 colors, but you can also buy one with 30 colors, which I want to get soon. And they come with this watercolor brush where you like just squeeze it and water will come out of it. See, there's like water in my hand now. I squeeze it and water comes out of it, and it's wet there. And yeah, and the watercolor brush is really nice. I'm not sure if it's a Pentel one. It's like a Sakura Koi watercolor one, so it's Sakura's own brand of like watercolor brush, but honestly, from what I've seen, it is like almost identical to the freaking Pentel water brush pens. So it's basically a Pentel water brush pen, except different brand, but it's like the same thing. So yeah, and it's really great, very pigmented, and I would highly recommend these. I love these so much. They're like my best friend when it comes to watercolors, and I need to use these more in the future. Sorry if I don't explain these that well. Overall, I'm not the best at explaining things. You probably know that by now if you've been to this account for a bit. But yeah, they're great. And I would definitely recommend them. And they're great for traveling. And everything like will fit into the case for the most part. They're great for traveling. And just great in general. So if you want some nice travel watercolors, then yeah. But I don't use those as travel watercolors personally. I use them as my main watercolors. So if you want to use them as your main watercolors, you totally can. And then I would say the next thing on my list, sorry, I went over to my desk to go get it, because not desk, oh god, not desk. I went over to my bed because everything's just lying on my bread, yes, lying on my bed. So, yeah, I have all my art supplies lying on my bed I want to show. The next art supply I want to show is probably my favorite that I've used. And I've used some other, like, mechanical pencils in the past, but this is the one that I always come back to, and it is the Papermate Clear Point 0.7 mm mechanical pen. You can get the same mechanical pens that take 0.5 lead. They still sell those, but they sell more of the ones that take 0.7 lead now. And yeah, I just really love these for sketching. They're just really nice. They have like a nice grip to them. And like they're thick enough so that it feels nice in my hand. Because they're thick, but they're also very lightweight. Like the barrel itself is very thick, which is nice to grip. So it's not like a really thin barrel you're gripping. But it's also lightweight feel. Because everything's like a really lightweight plastic on it. So it feels very lightweight. While also being big enough to be gripping in your hands without feeling like super tiny in your hands. And that's what I like about them. Plus I like the gripping on them because some other pens that I have don't have really good gripping and the plastic's kind of hard on them, so it feels like kind of hard in my hands to use it, but this feels nice and soft. And it comes with these erasers. The only complaint I have with these is that the erasers on them tend to get very muddy very quickly. So if that's a problem, then I probably wouldn't use the erasers they come with, because you always have to like clean them off on like a loose piece of paper and get all the mud off of them, and that can be quite annoying to do. And yeah, I have this pen, and I have a few more of these lying around my room somewhere. And then I also have some 0.7 lead. I have some Papermate one and other brand ones. Like any brand of lead will work for these Papermate pencils. I've used like many brands of 0.7 lead on them, and yeah, any